Hi guys, Lunea here. I'm back. This is a long-awaited video. I have been asked for this video a million times. I have put it off because it's serious business and I didn't want to go into it lightly. So today we're going to talk about hedge writing and altered states of consciousness, protection, reasons, just hedge writing in general. We're going to talk a lot about hedge writing. So it's a huge subject, and I made some bullet points so that I didn't forget anything. The first thing I want to say is, more than anything else, you need to be protected. I am not saying this to give you fear. A lot of people have fear about hedge writing or other world travel or whatever word you want to use. I call it hedge writing because I consider myself a hedge witch. And I write the hedge. I often visit the lower realm, the middle realm. And you need a reason to do this. So the first thing I'm going to say is, let's talk protection. I made a list of ways you can protect yourself when hedge writing or spirit work, spirit travel. The first thing is, before you ever do it, be sure there are a few things going on. You are not sick. You are not in a bad mood. You did not just have a fight. You are not worried. You are not afraid. Do not go into the other realms afraid. If you're not comfortable practicing this, don't do it. It's that simple. Are you going to walk into the other realm and get attacked by negative spirits? No, this is not how it works. Okay, protection. It's going to be hard to stay on track because my mind is racing and I've got a million things I want to tell you, and it's not something you can lump into one little thing. And I thought about doing a series, but anyway, protections. Anointing oils are a good way to protect yourself. Anoint yourself with oils, your protection oils. Make a protection pouch of herbs and items such as iron and sage and, anything that you feel is a protective thing for you. Put it in your pouch and keep that pouch with you when you're hedge writing. Use a besom. Use a broom. They are the flying instrument for a reason. They help with protection. They help keep you on track. And they are a grounding mechanism. And, it's real important to be grounded and centered and protected when you're hedge writing. I personally use a key, an iron key, skeleton key. I'll go into that in a little bit. I made a witch's ladder specifically for hedge writing. That witch's ladder contains things to keep me safe. Quartz, feathers, so that I could flee if needed. I can't remember what's all on it. It's been so long ago since I made it, but a witch's ladder for hedge writing is a good idea, and we can do a video on that. And herb pouches or protection pouches in the future. A lot of people cast a circle before they hedge write. Sorry, I'm at work, so I have to keep an eye on things. A lot of people lay down an herbal circle and sit in the center of that, or a salt circle and sit in the center of that. Most, everyone should make an energy bubble as you're going into your altered state. You should always be in an energy bubble. And then there are crystals you can have with you. Labradorite fights against psychic attack. Tourmaline keeps you grounded. Quartz is a protection crystal. Rose quartz shows that you're there for loving reasons. Let's see. A lot of people use a string on a cord, or a cord tied to something in this realm, and then wrapped around their wrist or held in their hand, or some people wrap it around their finger to keep them linked to this world, so that anytime they touch it, tug on it, any of that, they can then be released from their travels. And then, of course, there's sigils and symbols specifically for travel. So those are a lot of the protection things. Let's talk just a minute about spirits and what you're going to come across and so on and so forth. When you begin traveling, you travel into the lower realm. It's not like it's ridden with evil spirits waiting to get to you and attach themselves to you and come back. It's not riddled with them. When you begin traveling, there's etiquette. You want to say please. You want to say thank you. You want to say goodbye when it's over. You don't want to necessarily speak first. If a spirit is approaching you, allow that spirit its room. You can speak for. I'm not telling you not to speak first. I don't want to say that, because I often speak first, but I feel it out first. How does it feel to me? Do I feel sick in my tummy? Do I not feel really comfortable? Is this making me a little nervous? And follow what you're feeling, because 9 times out of 10, you're right. Whatever you do, don't take any spirit, good or bad, negative or positive, feels good or doesn't feel good. Don't take them for granted, and don't be disrespectful. Respect all the beings that you meet on your journeys. If they begin answering questions for you, or are working with you and helping you with things, and guiding your journey towards the reason you're there to begin with, don't ask a million questions. Don't pry. Ask your questions gently, respectfully, and when they've answered your questions, allow that to be. They're done. They've answered your question. So don't say, well, what about this? Or does that mean that? Don't pry. Don't berate them with your questions. Have respect. Have respect for your elders, because basically that's what they are. They are your elders. A lot of times they are your guides. A lot of other times they are your ancestors that you are dealing with. Most people in the other realm that approach us are in some way, and when I say related, I don't mean like a bloodline, but related to us. They have something to do with us most times. So have great respect. Have great respect. And have a reason for going. Don't just decide one day, I'm going to hedge ride just to see what it's like. Have a reason for going. I am going to hedge ride because I would really like to have some contact with my guides and learn to work with them better. I would like to meet my animal guide. Most times when you begin traveling, the first thing you're going to do is come across your animal guide, your spirit guide. And they will almost always be the first being that appears to you from that moment forward once you have bonded with them. They will almost always be the first person that appears to you. But be respectful even then. They are animals, but they are your guide. Okay, so my animal guide is a bear. I have a few, but my animal guide is a bear. I never once asked him when we're traveling, can I ride on your back? I never thought to ask that because it felt demeaning to him, in my opinion. I felt like that was demeaning to even ask that. So I never did. But he did offer. And I do ride my bear. I sit on top of his back, and he takes me to the places that I need to go for the work that I'm doing at that moment, or to my area, my space, and we'll talk more about that. But you need to have the utmost respect, because, like I said, 9 times out of 10, the beings approaching you are your relation in some way, not necessarily a family member type relation, but your guide or your angels or your, you see what I mean? They're related to you in some way. They have a relation to you. If you do happen to meet someone that feels bad juju, you just feel it, because you will meet negative spirits. I don't want to make it sound like you're going to go over there and it's going to be all la-la. You do have to have protection. You do have to be careful, and you will meet spirits that make you feel uneasy or not good. Follow your feelings, because 9 times out of 10, those are the spirits you don't want anything to do with. Now, how do you get rid of them? It's simple. It really, really is. There is a lot of respect in the other world, in the other realms. So tell them to leave and mean it. Be firm. Be respectful, but be firm. I am not willing to deal with you today. Please walk away. Or leave now. I am not open to discussion with you. Leave now. But be firm, but be respectful. Don't say get the fuck out of here, because that's not respectful. We're going to be respectful. And remember that you are the visitor. You're the one visiting. So we're going to be respectful, but we're going to be firm. I am not dealing with you. Please leave. And you don't say please. You just tell them leave. And be firm. Not sick, not in a bad mood. Animal guides are usually first. If you have heard stories of people writing their animal guides, and they've got a horse or a fox or a whatever their guide is, and you've heard stories of them writing their guides, and you really want to do that, by all means, don't not ask, but ask. Don't assume that you can just jump on your animal guide's back and hit the road, because that's disrespectful. Again, utmost respect. Okay. There's a lower, a middle, and an upper realm in general. There's those 3 areas. And most people who begin their experiences or practices with hedge writing or other world travel usually will end up in the lower realm to begin with. And don't take from that this is a lesser place, because again, it's all, you're a guest, and it's all sacred. It's all very sacred. So have utmost respect and do your journey. So how do you do your journey? This is where things get a little difficult to explain. Okay, a lot of people nowadays use marijuana to help them get into an altered state. A lot of people use flying ointments. You have to be careful about flying ointments. You'll order a flying ointment offline thinking, oh, I'm getting a flying ointment, and what you will get is a bundle of mugwort and wormwood and maybe some colt's foot, and it has none of the properties that are going to help you reach a altered state of consciousness. Am I telling you that you need to put poison on yourselves to reach that altered state of consciousness? No, I'm not. There are a million ways to reach an altered state of consciousness. One of them is meditation. One of them is chanting, drumming, dancing, rattling, listening to shamanic drumming as you're beginning your ascent or descent. Listening to your own heartbeat, amplifying it, if you will. Your own heartbeat, and paying attention to that. All of these things will get you to an altered state of consciousness. But some people like to use a quicker method. So there are quicker methods according to them. I personally don't. I do use flying ointment. But I don't use a whole ton of flying ointment. I don't try to get high. I'm not trying to get high. I am trying to relax enough to get into a state. So I will put some flying ointment in my elbow creases, under my arms, and behind my knees. That's it. That's all I do. A lot of people will coat themselves in that stuff, where the main arteries are, thighs, neck, the whole 9 yards. I really don't. Sometimes I will put it on my neck or behind the edge of my ears down this way. But most of the time I don't use anything, but I have been journeying for quite a few years now. 95 was the first time that I experienced hedge riding. And so in 5 years, that will be 30 years ago. Wow, I'm getting old. So how do you begin? What do you do? Okay, you get to your altered state of consciousness via the path you choose. You turn on your music or your drumming, or you grab your drum, or you do your rattle, and you get into your altered state of consciousness. And once there, or once coming into that, you need a threshold. You need a way to go to the other realm. Now, there's a million ways. Some people use visions of a tunnel leading down, or staircase. Some people see a trail in nature and take the trail to a cave. Some people just use a cave in general. Some people use waterfalls. Some people use drains, street drains. I personally use a tree. My heart is in trees. I love trees. I have a big oak tree on a tree-lined street, dirt road, not street, with fencing, old-timey fencing on both sides, and I visualize myself walking down that road till I find my tree. It's not like the fourth tree in. It's part of the process of coming into that altered state of consciousness that I'm walking down that road and looking for my tree. My tree is a big oak tree, and it has a large hole in it. When I climb into that tree, I now have the opportunity to go down, to go kind of a hitch, not level, but not high and not low, just kind of a hitch into another tunnel, if you would, or branch, I guess. And then I have the opportunity to climb up when I go in that hole. Those are my realms: lower, middle, upper. The lower realm and the middle realm sometimes get very muddy. Sometimes they are very similar, and you need to be aware of where you are. So you find your method of your altered state of consciousness, and you find your method of getting to your realm. Now, for me, it's a tree, and so I will walk down the path, getting into my altered state of consciousness, past all the trees on my dirt road. It's beautiful, and I could literally go there right now, so I need to be very careful. Anyway, I get to my tree, and I crawl down into my tunnel. My branch, it's a hollow branch that I'm climbing through. When I come out the other side, I'm in the lower realm. Oftentimes, my bear, I don't feel comfortable giving his name out. I think that is disrespectful. He has given me his name. He didn't give it to me to share. So that's why you're hearing me say my bear and not assigning a name. But oftentimes he will be there when I get there. If he's not there when I get there, he's there shortly after. He's almost always there. I have other animal guides, and they are almost always there. So now you have gone through your ascension, your altered state of consciousness. You've gotten yourself there. You now exit into the world of the realm, of the lower realm. And how does it look? What's it look like? I cannot tell you that. Everyone's realms look different. My lower realm is not bright at all. It's not dark and scary. It's just, I guess the best way to describe it really would be a sunny but cloudy day. So it's filtered to me. It seems filtered. Yours may be dark and muggy looking. Yours may be bright and sunny looking. It's different for everyone. So for me, it's a sunny, cloudy day. And I now come out into my lower realm. Now, what now? Well, what's your purpose? What are you there for? Hopefully, you didn't go just to take a joyride. Hopefully, you have had a reason before entering, because there needs to be a reason. You don't want to, it's disrespectful to just say, boom, I'm here, how you doing, what's up, everybody? It's not respectful. You need to have a reason for hedge riding, a reason for traveling. So what is your reason for going? Guidance, wisdom, healing, growth, spirit work, shadow work, ancestor healing, healing the past of our ancestors. But you need to have a reason. So whatever your reason is for being there, then you carry it out. And I can't get super specific because everybody's process and everybody's journey and every single journey is so different from the last. What I can tell you is, for your first time out, what you should be doing is going to meet your guides for your first few times out. Actually, you want to establish a rapport with them. You want to have a relationship. You want to get to know them. So that's going to take more than just popping in and saying, hey, I'm Candy, how you doing, what's your name? So I would suggest that first time be to make contact with guides. 9 times out of 10, I said this before, the first guides you're going to make contact with are your animal guides. And the reason is because they are already protected. Your greatest protection when you're in the other realm is going to be your animal guide. Your animal guide knows good from bad, negative from positive. Your animal guide knows which way to go, which route to take, how to direct you to get to where it is you need to be to learn the lesson you've come to learn. And they are going to be your greatest asset. So I would suggest your first ride be to get to know your guides, and especially your animal guides, and to start a rapport with them. Before you ever ride, before you ever start any part of the process, before you put your circle together, before you do anything, set a mild alarm. You do not want to get yourself caught up where you're there for, it happens. It happens. It happens where you just, disappear and are gone for hours and didn't realize it, because to you, maybe over there, it felt like 25, 30 minutes. And when you finally come back to yourself and you've ended your session and closed the door and, come fully aware, it's been 4 hours. So I highly suggest before you do anything, you set a mild alarm. When I say a mild alarm, I mean like a bird chirping or a nice mellow type alarm. You don't want to have a in your ear when you're coming out of your visit with your other realms, your hedge ride. So you're there for guidance, you're there for wisdom, you're there for healing, you're there to heal the wounds of your ancestors, you're there to grow as a being, as a spiritual being, and you're there to get to know your guides. And these are reasons that you hedge ride. So you're on your first visit, you're meeting your spirit animal for the first time, remember, say please, say thank you, say hello, have a greeting, say goodbye, have a departing. Don't take them for granted. Don't pry. And when they've come to you and done the quest, fulfilled the quest, whether it's a question, a lesson, or when they have fulfilled it, let it be. They have done their work for you today. So be respectful. If you went to visit grandma and grandma was giving you life lessons, you wouldn't rush her through it. You wouldn't ask her 1,000 questions and turn her into a mess before you left because she's just like, I don't know. We're not going to do that. We're going to be respectful. We're going to be kind. And we're going to realize that it's a process and it could take a lot of trips to get there. To get to a place where you've got a good understanding and a good, healthy relationship. Relationships take time. And the next thing I want to say is trust should be earned even by your guides. The reason that I say this is because it is a spirit realm. You will have spirits coming. You will see spirits. You will interact with spirits. And not all spirits are your guides. So trust needs to be earned. When you ask a question, it should be a learning question. And you should be able to find some proof of that learning down the line so that you can go, oh, my spirit animal said this, and look at that. That was true. That's really worked. I should do that more often. I'm going to go back and thank him or her, and maybe I'll move on to a new lesson. Maybe I'll ask another question. And understand that it's a process. It's going to take time. It's not something you just jump into and ask a million questions and come out and learn a million lessons. It's a process. It's like shadow work. It's a process. Hedge writing never ends. Once you start hedge writing, trust me, you are never going to want to stop. It is an amazing, amazing thing. You learn so much. You grow so much. You become so wise. And answers begin to come to you. You've got this open line of communication with your guides after going so much that, sometimes I'll sit back and think, how am I going to manage this? How am I going to get through this? And I will get an answer within minutes sometimes. Sometimes not, but sometimes within minutes. It's like, oh, well, of course, I'd do this, and that would be the easiest way to do it. Now, I know that that's not coming from me. That's coming because I have spent hours and hours building relationships with the entities that guide me in my life and help me journey and teach me lessons and give me wisdom. And so, those lessons come even when you're not necessarily in the realm, once you have really spent some time practicing this. I want to be sure I've covered everything. I covered the alarm. I covered having a reason to go, that there are 3 realms. What is it called? What is it, what I'm talking about called other than writing the hedge? Writing the hedge or hedge writing is a hedge witch term. But it's also called crossing the veil or visiting the other realms, or there are other words for it. Why do I call it hedge writing? Because I'm a hedge witch, and that's what I do, and it's part of who I am to write the hedge. Okay, so a little more personal. How do I do it? Well, as I stated before, I have a witch's ladder that I made specifically for hedge writing. So I have a witch's ladder that I keep in a pouch with me. I have a bear claw that I keep with me. I have a key, an iron key. We'll talk about that I keep with me. Iron for protection, and the key has a purpose, which I'll explain in a minute. And I anoint myself with a little bit of flying ointment and a lot of protection oil. And then I have my herb pouch or my protection pouch that I keep with me, and my besom. My herb pouch I actually keep with my besom, and that way the besom is always recharging. I do keep a quartz crystal with me, and so I'm ready to journey. What do I do? Well, I have a pillow that I sit on in front of a small table. It's not really an altar. There's a candle there. My quartz is there. My stuff is there so that I can have it right with me. Some of it I keep on my lap, depending on what's going on and why I'm traveling. Am I really in search of something that I'm not sure? Am I going to the middle realm? Am I going to lower realm? Am I in search of knowledge that's important? Maybe I'm going to take a tourmaline with me, and maybe I'm going to hold these things in my hands. My besom rests on my lap. My pouches, my pouch with my witch's ladder, my pouch with my protection herbs sit on my lap. And the quartz crystal, it depends. And the tourmaline, maybe. Again, it depends. I have a table in front of me, and I do have a candle there, and I kind of focus on that candle when I'm starting to go into the woods to get to my tree. Most of the time when I hedge right, I have a good reason behind it. I'm working on some ancestor healing. Maybe I'm doing some shadow work of my own, and I can't get past a certain block or problem, or can't figure out a certain thing, so I need some guidance. And I'm not getting enough by just asking, so I want a hedge ride to get some more guidance. Maybe it's just been a while, and I want to visit everyone and spend some time in my special place. So the key. I have created myself a special place where I spend time in the lower realm, and I have a special place where I spend time in the upper realm. I mean the middle realm. The lower realm is a healing cabin. And there are healing runes on the floor built into the cabin. It's not lavish. It's very rustic, and it serves a purpose, and the purpose is healing. A lot of times I will envision that I'm taking someone to this cabin and that I'm healing them, that I am working on them for healing. I also have runic symbols all over the cabin. Not runic symbols. Reiki symbols all over the cabin. And I do my healing there. That's where I do healing on myself and others. And it has a nice little gate around it. And my key unlocks my cabin. So that